Well, for more on the Rose Bowl, there's no better person to ask than the man who got the game-winning touchdown and the granddaddy of them all, joined by former Buckeye receiver DeVier Posey. And DeVier, let's start first with just the idea of the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
What is it like to be out there, and really what is the pinnacle of college football?
Well, they call it the granddaddy of it all because it's the first bowl game. Every other bowl week is structured around the Rose Bowl's week. You got the Lawry's Beef Bowl. You got other events that go on throughout the week. Then you have the Battle of the Bands and the parade out in Pasadena. And so that feel, that nostalgic feel of the first bowl game, you feel it when you play in the Rose Bowl, and then the fanfare, right? The colors clash, and look at that red and that green, that yellow. It's gonna fill the stadium up. You're gonna watch that old school feel of Pac-12 versus Big Ten, and that's what makes the Rose Bowl so special, is the history.
When you walk in there and you see the mountains in the background,
Yep.
Did that take you back a little bit? Did you kind of come out of the game for a second and say, oh my gosh, look where I am?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the best part about the Rose Bowl, Adam, it's a day game in the first half, and you get a night game in the second half. And when you see, like, when you're running in at halftime and that sun setting behind those mountains, you're like, oh, this is a special opportunity. But you don't want to walk away with a loss, right? You got to win when you get in the Rose Bowl.
So take me through your game. Take me through kind of those final minutes. What was it like? I mean, for the rest of your life, you'll be a guy that caught a game-winning touchdown in the Rose Bowl. How great is that?
Well, the thing about our Rose Bowl, it was like my first huge game as a starter. It was honestly the pinnacle of my football career at that moment. Until to this day, it still remains my favorite football moment ever, man, because you're just so young and you're playing in something so historic. And it just meant a lot for our team to get a bowl win after we lost to Texas, LSU, and Florida. Just for us to come back and finally get a bowl win for that senior group, it meant a lot to like guys like Kurt Coleman and Doug Worthington and Cam Hayward.
All right, I'm gonna ask you about the guy on the other sideline. It was Chip Kelly you were going against.
Absolutely.
That Chip Kelly offense, what was it like to see? It was kind of new. It was a new world of college football. What was it like to see in person?
Well, what Chip did with the game of football, just schematically, he changed the game. I mean, he spread the field. He was just getting guys on edge and getting playmakers in space so frequently, and he was doing it so fast with his tempo that defenses weren't used to that tempo and spacing at that time. And it was just very hard to prepare for. And it vaulted him to the front of college football. It vaulted him into an NFL head coaching position. And I mean, even there's been stories of him meeting with Eric Spoelstra talking about spacing and driving the lane back when they had LeBron. Like, it's a concept he created and revolutionized football. And we had to try and stop him that day.
Yeah. And you did successfully. You got the win.
Yeah.
Here we are now. What, 14 years later, almost 15 years later.
It was 13, Adam.
It was 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't want to make you feel old. We're back.
Yes.
Ohio State and Oregon yet again.
Absolutely.
How do the Buckeyes not allow themselves to get too caught up in kind of, what is the granddaddy of them all?
Well, Ohio State and Oregon already played this year, and it was the game of the year in college football, per the Kurt Herbstreit Awards.
Yeah.
But the thing of what made that game so great was the margin of error was so small. And I think for Ohio State, they had not been tested at that year. They were trying to figure out their identity. It was their biggest game. Oregon had some big games against Boise already leading up to that. So they kind of had some experience under the lights. I think Ohio State, if they could have any game back on their season, I even think even more than the Michigan game, they would want that Oregon game back. And they get an opportunity to do it on the biggest stage with a chance to go to the Final Four. And I just think going against this team, the same mindset that we saw on Tennessee, that version of Ohio State is the best team in the country.
What do you think they can learn most from that game that they'd like back against Oregon? What do you think they most took away from it?
I think they already fixed it. I think Ryan Day and company have shown the ability football-wise to see an issue and fix it. They address change so fast, better than any team in the country in terms of, hey, we got to fix this issue. By the next week, it's showing up on film and it's already fixed. So I think they've had an opportunity to kind of fix that end of the game operations. That kind of slowed them down. Obviously, making different changes on defense with Coach Knowles in the back end, getting the rush. We've been able to see a version of Ohio State's defense and offense where they've executed all of those things that they kind of faltered in the Oregon game. they kind of passed those tests already now.
Well, we certainly saw the best version of the offense against Tennessee. What was it that allowed them to be so successful against the Volunteers, and how do they kind of put that on a plane and fly it out to L.A.?
I think you kind of use a motivation from a loss. Anytime you have a loss, the one thing you want to do is get back in the film room, get back on the field, and just see good plays on film to kind of wipe away those old bad plays. So these guys got to work. Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard, Emeka Ibuka, Caleb Downs, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer. They got back to work. While we were talking and sitting here trying to debate what was going on, these guys were working. And I think they've been ready for this opportunity last weekend under the lights to kind of put all the silence to bed. And it's just the new reality that we're in, right? Like, how much does the Michigan game mean when you get to host a playoff and put a performance up like we did last Saturday, Adam? It was amazing to watch.
They got a chance to put that whole game behind them and reset the tone at home. This Oregon team, they are the 1 seed for a reason. They might have gotten the worst path with the 1 seed, but what allows them to be so successful? If you're Ryan Day, you're sitting in the office, what's keeping you up right now with this Ducks team?
Danny Lanning and Dylan Gabriel, that connection and that combo this year has the surrounding and supporting cast playing at another level of focus and determination. This team executes. This team is not that heavily penalized. And when you do those things, you do the right things, you minimize mistakes on the field, and you don't have penalties, you're not working against themselves, right? So they make big plays and they have good players. And I think in terms of Ohio State and in terms of Michigan and in terms of the recruiting scene, Oregon is going to rival Ohio State for the next 20 years in terms of like who gets the top 5 recruits. And you're already kind of seeing this rivalry being displayed. Like, this is a good foundation for it. Their first year in the Big Ten, we play them twice with a chance to go to the Final Four, right? Like, we're building up a story for the ages between Ryan Day and Danny Lanning. But this group is just very experienced. They play fast, they execute, and they don't make mistakes, Adam.
All right, I'll get you out on this.
Yeah.
Ohio State walks off champions at the Rose Bowl. You put the rose in your mouth, you're celebrating.
Absolutely.
If they do what?
If they play with the same aggressiveness that we played with last Saturday, kind of let it loose. And then also, let's get after Dylan Gabriel.
Okay.
Let's be aggressive. Let's let his jersey get a little dirty on that Rose Bowl grass. But it's time for him to kind of feel our pressure on defense and offense, continue to make plays.
He is DeVier Posey. The man has a Rose Bowl ring. He knows what it takes to win out in Pasadena. DeVier, thanks so much.
No problem.